All right, ready to dive deep. Today we're tackling the oh-so-elusive Pisces personality.
Sounds slippery.
It really does. Like,
Okay.
even trying to describe a Pisces can feel like, I don't know, trying to hold water in your hands.
I get that.
So thank goodness we have Linda Goodman's work on astrological signs as our guide. She really gets to the heart of it.
Absolutely. And what I find fascinating is that Goodman doesn't just tell us their traits. It's like she unlocks the why behind the what. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, take that whole dreamer, not a doer thing that people often say about Pisces.
Right.
Goodman suggests it's not that they're lazy or anything.
No, not at all.
It's more that their motivation comes from a different place.
Exactly. They're not driven by that gotta have it all material ambition.
So it's not like they're against money,
Oh, no.
but it's just not their top priority.
Right. Goodman actually says they're more likely to, like, inherit wealth or maybe benefit financially through marriage. But what really gets a Pisces going, deep down, it's that emotional connection, their creativity, and I guess you could say, like, a kind of spiritual yearning, something bigger than themselves.
Okay, that makes sense when you think about that classic Pisces symbol. Two fish swimming in opposite directions.
Ah,
There's got to be some inner struggle represented there.
absolutely. Goodman nails it when she says that duality is like the core of the Pisces experience. It's that constant back and forth, like going with the flow versus making a deliberate choice.
So finding that balance is key for them.
It really is. And honestly, it's not always an easy thing.
Okay, so let's say we're at a party, right? Big room full of people.
Okay.
How do we spot the Pisces? Aside from maybe that faraway look in their eyes, are there any physical traits that Goodman describes?
Oh, she does. She paints quite the picture, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Often delicate hands and feet, soft skin, and those eyes. Dreamy, almost otherworldly, like they're seeing something beyond what's right in front of them.
You're making me want to go people watching right now.
It's true, though. It's almost like you can see their sensitive, artistic soul just by looking at them.
It's all right there on the surface.
Exactly. And, that outer appearance, it often mirrors their inner world. Gentle, kind of ethereal.
Okay, so we've got this sensitive, dreamy vibe.
Uh-huh.
But Goodman also points out, and this is where things get a little tricky, that same sensitivity can make them prone to escapism.
Oh, that's so important. Because Pisces are just so tuned into their emotions.
And everything around them, right?
Yes. So the harsh realities of the world can be really tough for them to handle.
Makes sense.
They might escape into daydreams, or even turn to unhealthy ways of coping, like substance abuse.
And she specifically calls out alcohol as being particularly dangerous for Pisces.
Oh, yeah, because it gives them that temporary escape from all those deep emotions. But as you can imagine, it can turn into this awful cycle, and the problem just gets worse.
Like trying to put out a fire with gasoline.
Exactly. A powerful analogy.
So we've got this sensitivity that can lead to escapism. But on the flip side, Goodman also highlights their incredible creativity.
Oh, yes.
She mentions all these famous Pisces. Artists, writers, musicians.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. Why do you think that is?
Well, it seems like Pisces have this almost magical ability to tap into their emotions and then transform them into art. Whether they're building whole worlds through writing, creating music that moves your soul, or capturing a feeling on a canvas, they're driven by this deep well of emotion.
Okay, and speaking of depth, Goodman calls Pisces old souls. Like carrying wisdom from past lives.
Wow, right.
Adds another layer to their already complex nature.
It really does, and I think it explains why they often seem wise beyond their years, but also why they can be so hard to pin down.
Like they're always just a little bit out of reach.
Exactly, almost like they exist on a different plane, channeling something from another realm.
It's like they're constantly searching for something just beyond our grasp.
And that search, that yearning, is part of what makes them so fascinating. Yeah.
Totally agree. But for all their introspection, Goodman also talks about their incredible compassion. Like, they can have empathy, even for those who might not deserve it.
This is one of the most beautiful things about Pisces, I think.
It is.
It's this uncanny ability to see past the surface, and connect with someone's suffering, regardless of their flaws.
It's like they can see a spark of good in everyone, no matter how deeply hidden it might be.
Exactly. It's like their hearts are wide open, absorbing the pain of the world.
That's got to be both a blessing and a burden.
It really does. It's a beautiful but challenging way to navigate life.
So how do they handle it all? I mean, the source even mentions they can be quite funny.
Oh, they can.
But in a way that almost feels like a defense mechanism.
You've hit on something really insightful there.
Oh.
Pisces can be incredibly witty and humorous, but sometimes that humor is a shield, a way to deflect attention from their own vulnerability.
Like they're saying, look over here. Isn't this funny?
Yeah.
While secretly guarding their hearts.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And if you want to truly connect with a Pisces, understanding that is essential.
You have to be willing to look beyond the laughter.
And see the depth of feeling beneath the surface.
Wow, we've covered a lot already. Aversion to material things, the struggle of their symbol, their gentle nature, the tendency to escape, their creativity, old soul wisdom, compassion, and humor as a shield. That's a lot.
It really is. And that's just scratching the surface.
Where do we go from here?
Well, let's dive into the health of a Pisces because it's actually deeply intertwined with their emotional well-being. That sounds good.
Absolutely. Tell me more.
So Goodman, she points out that Pisces tend to have this delicate constitution.
Delicate, huh?
Yeah, it's almost like their physical energy is directly linked to their emotional state.
I can see that.
They can be prone to, digestive issues, or
Right.
respiratory problems, especially when they're stressed or feeling overwhelmed.
So it's not just about eating healthy and getting enough sleep, though those are important for everyone, of course. But for Pisces, there's this extra layer of nurturing their emotional well-being, too.
Absolutely. Healthy habits are key, but they also need to be mindful of their energy levels,
Like creating a little sanctuary for themselves.
Yes. A place where they can recharge, find that emotional balance again.
It's like they need a safe haven from all the intensity of the world.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And this need for sanctuary, it actually ties into their tendency towards self-sacrifice.
Oh, right. Goodman mentioned that Pisces often put the needs of others before their own.
Yes, and sometimes it can be to their detriment.
How so?
Well, it's like they have this innate urge to absorb the pain and suffering of those around them.
Wow.
They're incredibly selfless, almost to a fault.
That's both admirable and a little bit worrying.
I know, right? So how can they be so compassionate without completely depleting themselves?
That's the question.
Boundaries. Learning to set healthy boundaries is crucial for Pisces.
Boundaries.
Yeah, they need to protect their own energy and not get swept away by the emotional currents of everyone else.
Okay, so how do they find that balance between compassion and self-preservation?
They're creative outlets.
Yeah.
Art, music, writing, these become powerful ways for them to express themselves and release those pent-up emotions.
It's like channeling all that intensity into something beautiful.
Exactly. It's therapeutic for them, but it can also be a gift to the world.
So, in a way, their sensitivity, which can sometimes feel like a burden, becomes their superpower.
That's a great way to think about it. And speaking of connections, Goodman makes an interesting observation about Pisces and their relationships.
I'm all ears.
She suggests that Pisces are often drawn to people who need their help, people with some kind of void they instinctively want to fill.
So not just romantic relationships then?
Nope. This can play out in friendships, family, even at work.
Huh.
It's like they have a radar for those who are hurting or lost.
And they can't help but offer support.
Exactly. But of course, that can lead to some unhealthy patterns too.
If they're constantly attracting people who drain their energy.
Exactly. So it's super important for Pisces to be careful about who they let into their inner circle,
Surround themselves with people who appreciate their sensitivity and give back in return.
Right, not just take advantage of it.
So finding people who understand their need for both connection and solitude is key.
Absolutely. Pisces thrive in relationships where they feel safe to be themselves,
Yeah.
With all their complexities and contradictions.
They need someone who can handle all the layers.
Yes, appreciate their depth and that need to retreat into their own world sometimes.
It's like they're constantly navigating between two worlds. The external one with relationships and responsibilities.
Right.
And then their own rich inner world.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And it's that authenticity, that willingness to embrace all those complexities. That's what makes them so captivating.
There's a depth to Pisces you just don't find in every sign.
I agree. It's like they're a walking paradox. Dreamy, yet insightful, compassionate, yet guarded, vulnerable, yet strong.
So many layers.
I know. And just when you think you've figured them out, bam, they surprise you with a whole new facet of their personality.
It's like peeling an onion. There's always more to discover beneath the surface.
That's the beauty of Pisces. They keep us guessing, keep us intrigued. And in a world that often values predictability, that's a refreshing quality, isn't it?
It is. Like they're reminding us that life is a journey of exploration.
Yes. Within ourselves and in our relationships.
And it's a journey worth taking.
It really is.
It sounds like approaching a relationship with a Pisces takes a certain, I don't know, a certain level of sensitivity,
You could say that.
like a willingness to just meet them where they are.
Absolutely. And once you've earned their trust, oh, they're the most loyal and compassionate people you'll meet.
They really go all in.
They do. They become the kind of friends who see right through you, but they love you anyway.
But you did mention their need for solitude.
Right.
Even in the most, supportive and understanding relationships, there are going to be times when they seem distant.
Oh, yeah. Lost in their own thoughts.
And it's important not to take that personally.
It's so important. It's not about you.
It's just part of who they are.
Exactly. They need those periods of solitude, to recharge, connect with their intuition.
Tap into that creative wellspring we talked about.
Exactly. It's like they're drawing inspiration from this source we can't quite see or grasp.
Almost mysterious.
Totally. And that's part of what makes them so intriguing, right? They remind us that there's more to life than what's right in front of us.
There's magic and mystery all around.
If we just open ourselves to it.
I love that. So the next time you meet a Pisces, whether it's just a brief encounter or a lifelong connection,
Yeah.
remember that you're dealing with a truly unique and enigmatic soul.
They really are. And don't be afraid to dive deep with them.
Dive deep, huh?
Yeah. You might be surprised by what you find, both about them and yourself.
It's like an invitation to expand our own perception, isn't it?
It is. To explore those uncharted waters of our emotions, our imaginations.
Because at the end of the day, that's the gift Pisces offer us.
It really is.
They challenge us to see the world differently.
To embrace the beauty in the unconventional.
To find meaning in the, seemingly small things.
And in doing so, they help us connect with something really essential.
Okay.
Our shared humanity.
Beautifully put. So, to wrap things up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from our deep dive today?
I'd say keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep. The world of Pisces is vast, and it's always changing.
And the journey is worth the effort.
It really is. You might even discover a little bit of Pisces within yourself along the way.
I love that. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the fascinating world of the Pisces personality. Thanks for listening.